Good evening, everybody, and I'm Noreen McClendon, and this is Free to Heal, where we are. Ooh, sing that, hit the note again, Miss Cheryl.
We'll have to do
Uh-huh.
a song soon.
Okay, where we are formerly incarcerated and loved ones, and we come together every week. Our goal is to heal from the wounds that were inflicted upon us in mass incarceration, whether we were incarcerated or we're loved ones, and we come together every week because we want to be better. We want to heal. We don't want the world to win. We don't want the system to win. And hey, I see Miss Beverly checked in. Why I see you
Beverly.
logged on. Go ahead and check in and just let us know how you doing. Miss Beverly.
Uh, hold on.
Okay,
You know, I
baby.
don't know how to,
For a
I'm
minute.
trying to figure this out.
That's all right, baby. Take your time.
Oh, but anyway, I'm doing good. I had my camera off because the day I worked, I didn't have to have my camera on, so I have my pajamas on still.
Hey, however
I
you get
haven't even
here,
combed my
baby.
hair.
That is the beauty of Zoom, right? So one of the things I learned that I just had to dress from the waist up. I'm good at that.
Funny.
I'm good at that, baby. Them pajama pants or underwear, look, it don't even matter. Long as from the waist up, long as I'm dressed. Okay. That is so awesome. That is so awesome. But I'm glad that you're here with us. And is that Miss Monica on the iPhone? Hello, it just says
I
iPhone.
am. No, I'm on the Samsung.
No, it's another Monica.
Oh,
Yes,
okay, okay.
yes, that's me.
Yeah.
Hi, Miss Monica. Check in for us, sweetie, while you have a chance.
I'm sorry. Hi, everyone. I'm just joining right now. I missed the first few minutes.
That's okay. That's okay. We were just doing check-in, and since I hadn't even really started on the topic yet, I figured I'd let you ladies check in since you signed on. We had a great check-in from Monica Cooper
Okay.
about us being consistent, and I want to give all the praise and the honor and the glory to Yahweh for allowing me to be consistent in this. When I think about how this, I haven't thought about it very often, but how it came about. I was supposed to be doing this with somebody else, and they backed out. But before I was able to like kind of put it to a close, Miss Cheryl came, and Diane came, and it was like if nothing else, we needed it. And so that was in 2022. And it was October 2022. So this actually we're now in our third year. And when you talk about that consistency, like I take time like at the end of the year, and different holidays and stuff like that. But I do try to be here because the one thing I know about interacting with people that have been incarcerated is a couple of things. One is be a person of your word. Whatever you say you want to do, do it. And they've suffered a lot of disappointment. And so sometimes they may not be ready for whatever it is right now, but if they need it later and it's available, when you talk about that consistency, just being here, being available to them matters. So again, I say I'm glad that we're here. And with respect to being better people, a guy wrote a book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey. And I had prepared 3 specific sessions about this particular topic. And this is the first one because his book was so informative and had so much information in it that I had to break it down into 3 sessions. But one of the things, and because I was doing this initially at Francisco Holmes when I was doing a group specifically on relationships. And again, he's going to say something that I say all the time. Everything we do is about relationship. Everything. Family, spouse, children, sibling, career, friendships. It's all relationship. And he says, in order to be effective in anything in our lives, we have to be able to establish, and I want you to hear this, and maintain relationships. You got to be able to establish them and maintain them. Now, maintaining something means you got to tend to it. You don't, it happened, this is a pen, I'm just going to sit on the desk, and that pen will serve no purpose unless it's being utilized for something. Relationships require maintaining. I like to think of them like a muscle. I write about it in the Hurt People Highway. It's like a muscle. If you don't exercise a muscle, what happens? It gets flabby and it's not as effective. It's not held up. So at some point, you're going to have to put in some effort into a relationship in order for that relationship to work. And that's every relationship, like even in employment. And a job is you provide a service and they provide a fee. But a healthy employment situation is one where the employer gets what they need and the employee gets what they need. But there's also an unspoken kind of a thing where everybody feels appreciated. I train for career readiness, and I tell people the only thank you should ever expect in a job is your paycheck. Mm. Your employer is not there to validate you, make you feel special, cater to your needs, be worried about what's going on in your family. Now, I tend to do that in my company with my coworkers, but I don't owe them that. I don't owe them that. But in order to have a healthy relationship in employment, there needs to be balance. And I remember working for a law firm, and this one girl, she used to cry all the time. You know, her attorney talked to her crazy. And I used to ask her, why do you stay? Why do you stay and work for this man and you cry all the time? That's unhealthy. There is no scenario, you're not, employment is not slavery. It's not.
No, but it shouldn't be, because some of them aren't.
But see, those are unhealthy.
Yeah, but some people don't know that. They don't know it's.
And that's exactly why I'm discussing it, because some people don't realize it. And I will say this too. People who have been incarcerated have a tendency to be just so grateful for everything. They're grateful to be free. So they put up with a whole lot of stuff. And I say that's not true. Like I have tenants and I say, no, if something is wrong, it needs to be fixed. Because guess what? I want my rent money. I want all my rent money. So you got a right to ask for things, but I just don't want to, I don't want to be no trouble. Listen, that mentality puts you at a disadvantage, and it will allow people to take advantage of you that should not be taking advantage of you. And that is your fault because you set yourself up for it. So I want you to understand, whatever you pay for, you have the right to expect that you get what you pay for. Because you pay for it. So there's no, I paid a fair price, I pay full price, but I get less because I've been incarcerated. What you have done is set yourself up to believe that you're a second class citizen. And you're not. You're not. You may not have what you used to have. You may not, whatever, you may not look the same. You may be 100 years older, but guess what? You still have value. You still have value. And you still deserve, especially if you pay in full price, to get what you pay for. And it is not being rude or out of line to require to get what you pay for. So there's a lot of understanding that we have to have a lot of times about what our worth is and what we bring to the table. And so everything is about relationships. A key element in being able to maintain relationships stems from our perception, so our beliefs about things. If I believe that the world revolves around me and everybody should just be grateful just to know me, I could wake up that way on a Monday or a Tuesday or a Saturday and feel like everybody should just be grateful just to know me. Well, there's a certain way I'm going to function with respect to you and what you need and how you function. If I'm trying to maintain a relationship with you, what I perceive that you want from me or what our interaction is going to determine how I function with you in relationship. It's going to determine, because everything is about our perception. The universe works a particular way. And right now, simultaneously, right now where we are, the sun is going down. Somewhere is daylight.
Yeah.
And simultaneously, somebody could argue with me, it is not nighttime, it is daytime. And guess what? From where they are in their relationship to the sun, it is. But that doesn't mean that my reality and what I perceive, the sun is going down here, is dark. So, and it's going to get into this next paragraph will make it make sense. Each of us tends to think we see things as they are, that we're objective. But this is not the case. We see the world not as it is, but as we are. We see the world not as it is, but as we are. Or as we are conditioned to see it. So I'll use this as an example. In media, there are certain roles that are assigned to certain nationalities. And even within nationality. So if you ever think about, I think I've mentioned this here before, if you think about what you see in commercials, you will very rarely, I don't think I've ever seen a blonde-haired, blue-eyed person advertising medication. Why? Because in America, white supremacy says white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed people should not be sick. It's very subtle. And how I discovered it is my son is an actor, which I may have mentioned here before. And when he was a little boy, he could play like really bad kids really good because he's an actor. But they would never book those roles for him. And it was because he was too cute. And quite frankly, a little too light. His skin was lighter. He's darker than me, but his skin was light they like to give the bad kid, the little dark-skinned boy will more often than not book the bad kid role. So I was talking about it. He was doing a show. He did theater for 5 months, and in the cast, it was a show. There's a classic show called Showboat, a theater production. It's been all over the world. And there was a little blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl in the cast. And I was just discussing it with the fact that he wouldn't book these roles with the other little black boy's mom. And she was saying her son wouldn't book him either. And they were very similar in type, in acting, they have people in types and categories. And so what happens is you wind up auditioning and competing against the same kids because your age and height and different things. But the categories definitely matter. So we're talking about it. And the little blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl's mom came in the conversation and she says, it's the same for my daughter. They want her to be angelic or a victim because she's blonde-haired and blue-eyed. And that is the way that the media conditions people to believe. It's very, very subtle, but very effective. So that is why, again, you will see white people in medication advertisements, but they're overweight, they're brunette, they may be balding, they may whatever, but you're not gonna see, as like with cancer, you think about cancer will strike anybody, but you're not gonna see the blonde haired, blue eyed cancer victim in the medication ads. Movies, prior to the abolition of slavery, Black people were portrayed as happy-go-lucky, nurturing people, da 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 da. The minute they could no longer use them for slave labor, they became the monsters, sexual predators. And the way that we're portrayed is still is all of that, and they criminalized us. And so now and then they began to criminalize our behavior because the 13th Amendment said you can only be enslaved as punishment for a crime. So what did they start doing? They start criminalizing us. The Birth of a Nation had us, sexual beasts and predators. Hillary Clinton talked about the super predators, right? Well, when you see that image, it conditions you, whether you know it or not, for people who don't actually know Black people to portray them and to think of them as violent, lazy, uneducated, et cetera, et cetera. Latinos in America are service people in America's minds. With that, we ain't even gonna talk about all the doctors and lawyers and accountants that are Latino or actors, but
They don't see that.
they don't tell you their stories. Hollywood doesn't tell you their stories, but media in general, they have a prescribed way that they categorize people. And if you don't have access to those people to actually meet them, know them, talk to them, be around them, you only know what you have been conditioned to believe about that category of people. That's all you know. So it's easy for your perception of me as a Black female to be angry, hostile, bunch of kids by a bunch of different men. That may not be bad, but anyway, I'm sorry.
You know what, I'm leaving.
Forgive me, I'm sorry.
Can I say-
I digress.
can I
I was
say
just thinking about the part about how babies was made, but anyway.
Can I tell you something? That is not true.
Oh, it's not, okay. Okay, so Diane said that's not true, but
No,
anyway,
it wasn't true.
but again, none of the things that I am are on that list. Because people in society, I've never collected a penny of welfare ever. Ever. Never, I always worked. And I always had to pay my way. That don't make me special. That's just the truth. But you won't see me in their portrayal of Black women. The same, but again, and I want to be clear that it is all nationalities and all categories of people. If you think about it, you're going to see a particular kind of man look a particular way. A white man is usually a villain, right? They're like in Billionaire and all those shows where they're super wealthy, they're vicious villains. Not all wealthy white men are vicious villains. They're just not. But people are programmed subtly to have these perceptions of people. So it's something that happens to all of us. So we tend to, and another thing, because as mentioned earlier, is we see the world as we are. If I know people who lie about everything and they swear you lying, that'll be the first thing roll off their mouth. You lying, because they lie. Right? I don't automatically look at somebody or listen to what somebody says and expect that they're just going to lie to me, because that's not me. It's not my thing. And I'm not to say that I'm pure. Maybe I'm too fucking arrogant to lie. Don't nobody take care of me. Who I got lied to? My mama dead. She dead. She was the only one I would have been scared of. Right? I might lie to the cops just because, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, stay out of prison or something. I don't know. But I'm just saying it would have to be Well, hell, even in that
So
situation,
you didn't like.
the one time that they had me, some of y'all don't know, I did 12 hours of hard time in lockup. I don't know if y'all know that. I mean, it was 12 hours of hard time in lockup, okay? But even then, listen, y'all, when they got me, I'm in the back of the car like this. And I'm like, and I said, assault with a deadly weapon. What was the weapon? My hand? And I'm like confused. And now you're supposed to, your right is to remain quiet. Shut the fuck up, Noreen, right? But that ain't me, because I'm in the back going, what? What did I hit her with? They said a pot. I said, oh no, go get the pot. Because I'm gonna tell you from here, if I was mad enough, this is what I'm telling the cops. I'm screaming at them from the back of the car. If I was mad enough to hit her with a pot, y'all would have known, because you would have been calling the ambulance and it wouldn't have been no question. I'm just straight telling the truth. I ain't even lying to them. I ain't sugarcoating. I ain't said nothing. I'm just in the back of the car here, right? No, I didn't hit her with nothing. I hit her with my hand when she hit me with her hand. I defended myself. But again, in my perception of the world, I'm just gonna tell the truth, because I don't feel like there's nobody I need to lie to. So I don't automatically assume that you're lying. Now, I'm not stupid. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna, you can't just peel me and tell me it's rain.
Was just orange.
Yeah, well, guess what? Whatever it was, don't put it on me no more, right? So again, that's why the cheating spouse is always accusing the other spouse of cheating. Because they cheat. And we perceive the world as we are. If we have no value for ourselves, we don't value others. We just don't have it in us to do it, because we see the world as we are. Any questions, comments? Holler at me. Where y'all at?
I seen a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman talking about cancer.
Did you?
Yes,
That's a rarity.
it was Farrah Fawcett when she had cancer.
Okay, but was she advertising medication? Was she an advertisement?
Not a drip of it.
Exactly.
Advertisement. It was when she was dying of cancer.
Exactly. So, and my point is, advertisers will not use that, right? So you saw her talking about it, but she wasn't being paid to advertise no medication for it, because the world doesn't, the world of advertising, and trust me, it's worldwide, does not want that population, that category of people, and particularly a woman.
Right.
Oh no, they are the vision of purity and health and vitality, because they're blonde haired and blue eyed.
Yeah.
And listen, that blonde haired blue eyed woman died from cancer.
Yeah.
So it's real for her.
I almost think that when she began to chrono what she was going through, that there was some disdain from media about the fact that she would dare do such a thing, because Farrah Fawcett belonged on your wall.
Oh my gosh. That hair, baby. What that hair? Baby, the fact that everybody was trying to do the Farrah Fawcett. Hey.
Right. Everyone.
You are the image. And I can promise you that they were mad, Tony.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I can promise you that they were mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's just confirmation of what it looks like. Like I said, but I just remember being so shocked.
Yes.
When Blue Jean's mom said that to me, I was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
And then I start noticing it. So we talking 30 years ago. So I've been paying attention to it ever since.
Right.
Because my son, he was probably 12 then, he's gonna be 42, 41. So, all that many years ago is when it was brought to my attention, and I start paying attention. I don't know if any of you saw, there was a controversy about online about a baby carrier. And advertising agencies do ads for different populations, segments of the population. They do. So that you can feel included in one, you too can be this whatever, or this can make you feel this way if you buy this product. But in the particular ad, what the controversy was is that the advertisement for the majority population was a white couple.
Mm-hmm.
The advertisement for Black folks was a single woman.
Mm.
They also did that with portraits.
Explain.
When we used to take the portraits at JCPenney's, at the grocery store, we used to buy the coupons. There was a portrait studio that used a white family to advertise the couple, and they used a Black woman and her 3 or 2 children to advertise to Black people to buy this portrait special. It's there's the subtleties. They
That's
really
the
never,
sickness of it, isn't it, Tony?
they never stop. We might be paying more attention, but as we pay more attention, and our minds, me with my photographic memory, but I'm not just privy to that. I think it happens to all of us, and we just began to capture some things from our past, and what's going on in the present, of how I started paying attention to Planned Parenthood offices and how they advertised, and the advertisement in different communities, with different segments of people. What you see and hear, like you said, it becomes a part of you. And even though you might not uh, do it or opt to it, it's still something that's giving you those subliminal suggestions
Yep.
that thwart the way that you think. And it happens. It happens all the time. I
And
can't
the
tell
crazy
you.
part, Tony, is too, is that people begin to function from that. Go ahead, Monica.
I was just going to kind of bring it back to what you were saying, is that we respond and react to the world through our own lens. So the people who are putting those advertisements out, they see the world through, blue-eyed, Caucasian vision. And in their mind, they envision a family as a mom, a dad, and a dog, and 2.5 kids,
Right.
and
And
a
a white
white
fence.
picket fence.
But
So,
it's more sinister, Monica.
oh yeah,
It's not just that. It is
oh
that
yeah.
it is industry standard. In other
Hmm.
words, it is baked into the way that the industry functions for those things to be that way. That's why they won't take, like I say, even with my son, even though he's black he's black, a black child, they would not take him because they needed the darker skinned kid to make that point or to make it in their mind believable.
That's the bad kid.
Yeah, that's the bad kid.
Wow.
Remember how they did the thing with the lady with they did this experiment with the dolls. Have you guys ever seen that?
Yeah.
And they asked the kids, what's the ugly doll? And it was always the black doll.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And this is from little bitty kids because the programming begins so young. And so just think about the cognitive dissonance of people who are biracial.
Hmm.
I got biracial grandkids, right?
Hmm.
Latino and black. And it's going to be a whole lot of, like I say, one side of my granddaughter, they want her only to be a man or picking strawberries, and the other one, they want her to be mean and evil and, there's nothing good for neither one of them important. You know what I'm saying? And they female, okay, well then that means, well, we can rape you and have sex with you whenever we want, and you should have nothing to say about that.
Hey, Noreen,
Uh-huh.
have you seen on Facebook? It was on Facebook. Muhammad Ali, when he was young, he said he was asking his mama why everything black is considered bad. He said that the angel food cake is white, and the devil, or what is it? What was the devil cake, or whatever you call it? The chocolate devil cake or
I know what
whatever
you're
is
talking
black.
about.
Yeah.
Devil
So
food, yeah.
yeah, the devil. He said, "Why everything black guy?" He said, "The black if black cat cross your path, it's
Oh, it's bad.
bad
Oh, yeah,
luck."
it's bad. Yeah, that's bad
Yeah.
luck.
So they did use stuff like that to make you, you know, to trying to picture Black people as bad people. You
And
know,
what it,
everything.
I'm sorry, baby,
Yeah.
but what it is the subliminal messaging. So even
Hmm.
another thing, like if you ever look at one of the reasons I stopped watching local news channels is because local news channels only report death and destruction. Like I ain't never seen nothing positive. And it began to affect me emotionally. I'm talking about, I stopped this like 30 years ago because I couldn't just intake it. But one of the things I noticed is that when they go into minority communities and they report a story, I live in the hood. I don't live in the suburbs and none of that. And they're not going to find me to articulate lady in the community to interview. They gonna find the dude with teeth missing,
Everything on their
yeah, with the
head.
girl with the bonnet, the house slippers,
Holding the baby.
and she hollering, and you know it. They don't want to project certain things, and that is true across the board. So, and the reason why this is relevant to this conversation is we need to look at our own biases. We need to look at our own perception of not just other people, but of ourselves, based on the subliminal messaging that took place with us throughout our lives. For example, I've told this story lots of times because I think it's so powerful. How the guy came home to Francisco Holmes, and I meet him, and he's talking about how his grandmother called him ugly in Spanish. That was her little pet nickname for him. And he met a girl, he's about 15, and he really liked the girl. The girl really liked him. And the girl told him that he was handsome and he never trusted her. He broke up with her immediately. And from that day to the day I met him, he's about 45 at that point, he never trusted a woman who told him that he was handsome. Because the messaging that he received inadvertently from his grandmother, mind you, his grandmother was the person who cared for him, nursed him back to health when he was sick. She fed him. She loved on him. So clearly, this person would not lie to me and call me ugly if I wasn't. And so this man walked around, and sad thing is, he was a handsome guy. The reality is, as handsome goes, he was a handsome guy. But his perception of himself and how we get that, a lot of that is built into what we receive and what we see in our homes as children. What becomes normalized. I asked in my workbook, I start off in chapter 1 asking about, in Her People Highway, the workbook, talking about how did your family respond to disappointment, to loss, to anger, to those things? What did you see? And now, do you see any similarities on how you address those things? Because all of us will likely see a direct connection between what our parents and what was in our household and how we respond to things, unless and until we start taking groups like this and other things to develop and heal from the traumas or just the circumstances a lot of times. No necessarily had to be bad trauma. Because listen, my mother, I am to this day a person who hugs. I hug people. Why? In my household, we didn't leave each other without a hug. Okay, I love you. That was the goodbye. It included a hug, right? That's not a negative thing necessarily, but guess what? For some people like Miss Tony, don't hug her.
She don't like it.
Don't you touch her. Huh,
Why do
Tony?
I have to be put on the spot?
Well, because you're a perfect example. Wait a minute, why, Diane?
That's true.
Why do I have to be put on the spot?
Tell her,
I mean,
Diane.
That's true.
And I was raised, and there was an experiment done in my family where it is very clear that we are not huggers. I am not a hugger. I'm not, but that doesn't mean that love doesn't ring out.
Can
But
we hug you? We hugging you now.
don't touch me. But uh, but I
Keep your
love
hands
you.
to yourself up.
But I love you. Just
And I know.
I
And I know
I
you do.
I grew up in a household full of men, and they grew up with a culture that preceded them of, you know, of rape, of instances. My grandmother, she always made me wear underwear to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And, I would ask her over and over again, and I finally got the total answer was because there were 10 of them, and she was at the bottom. And people would come over to the house, her brother's friends, and her brothers were 14, 15 years older than her, would be sneaking into the sisters' bedrooms and trying to creep. And the more layers you had on, the more protection you had. And I mean, I literally slept like that forever, right? And understanding, again, like you say, you live with your lens. It wasn't anything that happened to me. It wasn't anything that happened to my uncles, but it happened to their mom. And she came into her household with standards. And the majority of her children, she had 5 boys and one girl. And so them being responsible for me, she had some rules about how we moved, and they followed her rules to the T. And with that, it was kind of stiff. But I still felt loved. I still felt protected. But yeah, don't
And guess what? And guess what? And guess
keep your
what?
hands off me.
And guess what, Tony? You remember all the times we've discussed the fact that when you went to your friends' homes and stuff, and they were like, "Well, how many times has it happened to you?"
Right.
And you were like, "What?"
Yeah. Like what? Yeah, I couldn't wait to go to the dictionary to look up the word incest and the word rape. I didn't even know what those words were. But, I had a house full of men, but they protected me. I was a
Yep.
precious gem, and I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. I'd rather have that than have a whole bunch of hugs and have some, misdeeds, because I was truly shocked and lived for several years trying to hope and understand, because I felt like I was besieged with a reverse trauma, because I kept trying to figure out, well, why didn't they?
Right, right. Well, what's
You
wrong?
know,
What's strange here? And
got
Tony, one of the things is
Because your grandma didn't play that. That's why they knew that.
and they knew it. Yeah, your grandma didn't play that. One of the things is
but that don't stop people from doing things.
no, but see, but what it was so ingrained in them.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
many
Before I
reasons,
came.
right?
Right.
Before you
Before I
before
came.
you were born,
Yeah.
that there are
Yeah.
certain things you don't do, and there's certain ways they didn't have you sitting on their laps like particular
Right,
ways and all that
right.
kind of stuff, because that was just ingrained. That's what she learned, and she instilled that in her sons.
Right. And I talk about that. I talk about being somewhere, with my mom, and I sat on a man's lap, and I was 5 years old, and I was trying to something wasn't right, and it pissed me off, even though I couldn't figure out what it was. I kept the disdain for that man for years. Yeah, no,
Mhm,
no, 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 no. My no, I know well, right?
mhm.
So most definitely, but I still love, just dap me
Absolutely.
up. Just dap
Right.
me up. Don't
Give,
hug me.
give you a little, give you 5 feet or something. So listen, this is the thing.
Give me 50 feet.
We can't give you 50. We might give you 5, but we're gonna hug you anyway. So look, one of the things too is for everybody to be aware is this. When you see children who do things like that, like if you have a kid that comes over to your house with your kids or grandkids, and they are specifically layering clothes to go to sleep, trust me, there's a reason for that.
I would be scared.
There's a reason for that. So I know, so one of my friends used to, she had like did daycare stuff. And one little girl, this was a sign that she had been molested repeatedly was, and it breaks my heart every time I think about it, but the little girl, every time a man would come in the room, she would lay down and open her legs.
Oh, wow.
And she was 4 years old.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
She was
That
4.
never happened to me.
She was 4. And every time any man walked in the room, that's what she did. Because that was her experience. That's what men were for. That's what happened when men came around. So again,
At 4?
at 4, it had happened so often
I
that
can't
that
even
was.
process that.
Right. And that's what it was. So again, these are things that whether good or bad, because for me, the hugging thing in my family was a positive thing. It was an affirmation before you went out that door or when you came in that you were loved. So it goes in both directions. I don't want people to think that only trauma comes from childhood, because now I think we in a generation of folks that everything is trauma.
They're using it against you.
Like if yeah, they use it as emotional blackmail, right? I have a friend whose daughter told him that he was the reason for all of her childhood trauma. And when I tell you this man has been a daddy's daddy, I'm talking about from day one with his girls. He was always there, and he still is to this day. And they're both grown. One's graduated college in doing postgraduate work at USC, and I saw him on Facebook. He was out here with her, just because she, you know what I'm saying. So he's always been supportive, always done. Sometimes I guess maybe finances may not have always been what, because he's a creative person, but finance may not have always been, but he's always been there. And this little girl ain't experienced no damn trauma, y'all. Not in the sense of
In her
that
mind,
is that
she
in
did.
her mind. And look, we know that just because it may not have been rape and molestation and things, people experience things in a different way. You don't get more put on you than you can handle, but it doesn't mean that there aren't things, maybe the death of a family member, or having maybe when her parents divorced, it caused some feelings for her.
It could have been because her friends had things she didn't have, all kind of little things that.
Any kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? I know one girl who we were talking we're grown at this point, we're in our 20s and 30s, and we started talking about kindergarten or whatever, and she broke into massive tears about the teacher that let the other little kids play with the blocks and not her. And this had really hurt this little girl to her core. And she's 20 some years past the experience, but it still had was almost as fresh and powerful to her then as it was when it happened. And so this is how it's important that how we're raised will creep in and tell us how it will shape how we view ourselves and how we view the world. And so that is how we go into relationships. We see the world not as it is, but as we are, or as we're conditioned to see. When we open our mouths to describe what we see, we in effect describe ourselves, our perceptions, and our paradigms. We're describing who we are. So think about our current president, right? If you listen to him, everything is bad. Everything is bad except him. And so all of the things that he projects onto the Democrats are the things that they're doing. He talked very much in the election about the criminal justice system being weaponized against him. And he is literally weaponizing the criminal justice system against people that he believes wronged him, people who prosecuted him. Those people have, and he said this was going to be retribution. He accused the Democrats, all the things that he did, there was evidence and sufficient evidence, like they charged him with having classified documents. Well, we got the pictures of the classified documents in the bathroom on the floor, boo.
That wasn't him.
Oh,
It was on the floor.
oh. But at least it was a reason to ask the question.
That's all we can do.
It was a reason to have a
Yeah.
trial.
That's right.
In other words, they didn't make up something out of nowhere
No, they didn't.
to decide that they just don't like him, right? But that's the story that he would tell, because this is a person, in Ray's mother said, catch a lie, scratch a thief, or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right, in the movie, right? And it's true. People who would lie, will steal and cheat and steal, and all of that goes together. And so however you grow up, or whatever you are, and I've said this a lot to people, and I think I might talk about it maybe in the next thing, but if you want to be trusted, be trustworthy.
So true.
If you want people to do right by you, do right by people. Be the thing that you want to receive, and you're more likely to attract that. Because yes, go ahead.
Preach.
Okay. Whatever you want, whatever you are, you're going to attract it one way or another,
Mhm.
right? We had a conversation earlier, right? Don't you jokingly say negative things about yourself. Why? Because the universe doesn't know that you're joking. The joke was, I'm a loser, and it's like, no, you can't say that in my presence. Because you're not a loser. There's nothing about you that's a loser. But the more you keep joking about it, the universe is going to say, okay, well, loser you are. Next. I had a young guy yesterday. He was talking to his son, and I had to correct him. He was calling his son, come here, greedy. Come here, greedy. Greedy. I said, stop calling him that. Stop calling him that, because you mean it in a loving, you love your son and you mean it in a joking way, but his spirit as a child does not know that, and he will begin to perform to meet the expectations that you set for him. The universe will meet you where you are and meet you for what you think about yourself. It will make it true because you declared it. See, when the Bible says we're in his image, people forget the part about his likeness, that we're like him. And when he created the creation, for those of y'all that believe the creation was created, what did he do? He spoke it and it was so. He spoke it and it was so. So when we speak over ourselves and our lives, we will make it so, because we continue to speak the same thing. Speak life into yourself. Speak what you want to see. Don't harp on what you don't want. There's a movie, The Secret, and one of the things, powerful examples for me that I got from that was, if people say, I'm getting out of debt this year, I'm getting rid of all my debt this year, I ain't gonna have no more debt. And at the end of the year, they're still in debt. Why? Because their word was dead. And guess what the universe gave them? Dead. As opposed to a simple shift in language.
And what you doing?
I am going to be prosperous this year. I'm going to have my credit score is going to increase. I'm going to have an abundance of cash in my account. I'm not going to want for anything. There is going to be nothing to stand between me and those things that I want to achieve, whether that's buy a house. I will have excellent credit by the end of the year. It's not denying reality. It is speaking into existence what you want. But we have been socialized to say the negative and the opposite. And when we do it to ourselves. Yes.
So like, how do you balance what you see of yourself versus like when you're fresh out, what the world sees? The reality is, you walk into a bank and they see what's going on, they will do that. Well, in some cases, right? Like, there's maybe, I don't know how to position it, but how do you bridge the gap between the reality and what you see for yourself versus what society sees for you at that point in time?
So
whether it's a job, applying for jobs and we don't hire
I got
folks,
you.
or banks, or when you're looking to get a lease at a place, or
Mhm.
you name it, there are real barriers that are beyond just what you're saying.
So your question, the way you posed it, was the difference between the way you see yourself and the way the world sees you. What they see is none of your damn business, right? That's not your business. Your business is to continue to see yourself and put yourself in position to do the work, to put yourself and make yourself, and the break will come because you are focusing on what you want and not on what they perceive. And I would encourage you strongly not to give a fuck about what they think, because that will only feed any insecurities you might have. It's gonna give them life to say, maybe I'm not, right? Because getting beat down enough times out there in the world, right? If your issue is a bank account and you go to 4 different banks and they all, well, then maybe I'm not worthy of a bank account. Well, that's their loss. Because when your millions roll in, I don't want to fuck with y'all neither. How about that? I'm gonna take mine over here. Word, right? I'm gonna take mine over here. So
run that back, baby.
you see what I'm saying? But the key is what you think you will produce. If you think that they have the ability to totally stop you from ever getting it, that matters, right? They may stop you for a moment, but not forever. Okay. The key is to continue to put yourself in position and utilize relationships, right? Build relationships that will help put you in a position to be able to get exactly what you need. And the door will open. Yes.
But I'm saying, like, when you first see a person, like if someone first see you, they don't know you.
No, I understand that from a visual perspective when I walk into a room, but it's still different when you want to accomplish something, you're qualified to accomplish something, and then when you attempt,
You're denied.
You're denied, right? And
That's just the reset button.
yeah, and so like I think to your point, you just have to keep pushing through until one time that they do say yes, whether it's a job or.
But this is an important thing, though. This is an important element to what I said. And believe. You got to think it, function, and believe it's possible.
You're walking in it already.
Because then you begin to attract it and bring it to pass, because we're like him. He said it, he declared it, and thus it was. And that's how the universe came in. So that's not something abnormal. When they talk about, he gave us the ability to create like him. And we don't trust and believe that we have that. So we think that things outside of us dictate what we can have. And that's just not true. The proof of it is so many people who have overcome things that they shouldn't have been able to overcome, right? They should never have been able to do those things, but they were able anyway, because the limitations come again from our perceptions of us, the world, and our place in the world. So yes, there will be setbacks, there will be those things, but my thing would be not to focus on what they think of you or what they're going to. So let's just start at the point of when you have to reveal that you have a felony, right? For you, that sends a certain red flag up in you, right? And everybody I know that's been incarcerated, right? When you going to go do something, particularly fresh out, right? It definitely, like, there's that trepidation that happens. I say, don't worry about that. That's what I would say. I would say, find another thought to think in its place. Put the thought, and particularly in your case, I'm extraordinary, right? I'm extraordinary. I have extraordinary talents, extraordinary gifts. The universe will make place for me and my gifts, and no weapon formed is going to stop me from realizing my true purpose, despite the fact that I have a felony.
And if you don't harm me, it's your loss, not mine.
It is your loss and not mine, right? So those are things that those are ways to train the brain to get past, because again, we can't think about what somebody else is. Who cares what they think?
Who is somebody else?
That's none of your concern, right?
Who is somebody else?
Yeah.
Who's
well,
that?
and like in the banking case, okay, yeah, that they have some power and some authority, but somebody will make it happen, right? And you just build relationships over and over and over again.
And you work on tendering your options. I'm a firm believer in everything that Noreen said. I'm in a different position than the man that's speaking, but I'm not looking for your acceptance in that process. What I'm looking to do is figure out what I can do for myself. And very different subject matter, but someone who really inspired me was a designer, and he's a stylist, and he was trying to come up in the business and getting slapped in the face. He picked up the young lady actress Zendaya, and a lot of luxury designers did not like her. and would not fuck with her.
Mhm.
And he said, okay, no problem. This girl has the perfect body to build off of, and I'm going to work with her. And he began to work with, unknowns and Black people, minorities, and people who were looking for breaks, and he worked with them. He tendered with them. He built an entire brand off of unknowns. Right now, you got Louis Vuitton, Prada, Chanel, Gucci, and now luxury law has the ability to tell them, no, go fuck
No, thank
yourself.
you. No, thank you.
And he refused. He
Keep that
refused, and
safety.
he continues to refuse and send their items back. But it took him 10 years to get there with her.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it happen. When he first talked about it, he talked about, there's a lot of gay men in the fashion, and I don't think it's just because I'm gay. I think it's more so about her, being biracial, being young, and she not fitting the mold. And he was like, you know what? Okay, he took his lemons and he made lemonade.
And now they
Now
gotta come see him.
they no, they're begging and they sitting there, and he's telling them my lemonade stand is only for certain people.
I
So
love
you
it.
have to, you definitely don't have to be concerned about what they think or what they're doing. If you get that one road and you have to pivot, then you have to pivot. But there are options out there, because there are other people out there who might be going through the same thing that you're going through, and there are options. The more we build on this world, especially down this highway of reentry, the more we understand that having a felony or having a record doesn't make you the worst person in the world. And, the advocating, how I fit into the advocating piece of it is, why should I have to take care of somebody who is an able-bodied person, despite their mistakes? We've all made mistakes. And giving that person that opportunity. Well, if I'm going to give you a job, but I'm going to sit there and tell you, well, you know, you can handle bank accounts, so you're gonna have to put all your money in your mattress. It's not realistic. You're asking someone to come and pay taxes, to come and show up and do the things that were quote unquote expected of them before they had their mishap, their trouble. The same services, the same reasonings should be afforded to them when they come home, and not all of the barriers that happen, because that's the reason why recidivism is so crazy. It's because we are still trying to um, penalize that person, even
Well,
when
and
they
the
come
ultimate
home.
goal is to get them to return to crime or commit a crime so that they can go back and they can be used for slave wages again. Because you got to remember,
Exactly.
the whole point
Exactly.
is to get people into slavery.
Right.
And oftentimes in America they think of slavery and they think of Black people, but it really is about poor people in general. It
Yeah.
very much had a race component or a skin tone component.
Yeah.
Today's time, it is much more about
Class.
economics. It's the
Yeah.
caste system.
Economic class.
It's
Yes.
the caste system
Yes.
of the wealthy will rule, the ruling class, they will be in charge, da 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 da, and everybody else will have the position and the status in life that they want you cast in. And it doesn't, and they don't want it to change. So that's why diversity and inclusion and all these things are such negative context for them. So to try to change outward attitudes and behaviors does very little good in the long run if we fail to examine the basic paradigms or perceptions or foundations from which those attitudes and behaviors flow. So I'm constantly telling people in my classes in the prisons, when we're talking about relationships, and they may uncover, because my book is identifying unhealthy elements in relationships. Identifying unhealthy elements, the first thing is in a relationship with yourself. You want to identify what's unhealthy. But in identifying it, that's only half the problem. You got to find the source of it. Where did it start? Because like a weed, you can cut it off and it looks great up here, But eventually, if you didn't, it's gonna grow back. It's gonna come up again. So the key is to find out, where did I get the negative thinking? Where did the negative connotation, negative self-talk start? What was the root of it? And what caused me to begin this way, to come this way or think this way to begin with? And that is where you can begin to uproot it so that it doesn't continue to come back on you in the future. And listen to this. He says, what you are shouts so loudly in my ears, I cannot hear what you say. What you are shouts so loudly, I can't even hear what you say. A lot of times, we discussed it just briefly earlier today, Diane, about people who are trying to scam and different things. They don't know that other people, you're as transparent as you can be. People can see it. But they think, slicksters think they slick. They think nobody sees them, but you're as exposed as you can be. And it's like the strawberry. She didn't know that she don't look, that body's gone, but she's still acting like that, and she's still trying to coo and whatever worked for her before, but it ain't the same, baby. It ain't the same. It don't have the same effect.
Here, it's gone.
Right? It don't have the same effect, because what she is, which is a crackhead at this point, a dope head, a dope fiend, is screaming so loudly
Addiction took over.
that nobody else can even hear what she says. They can't get past what is actually there. So if we think about the thing, I want all of us to think about the thing that we like to hide the most, or the thing that we would least want people or society to see or know about us. And we all have something, whatever it is. Recognize that somebody already sees it. Somebody already sees that.
Yikes.
Scary, isn't it?
Yikes.
Somebody, and the reason they see it more often than not is because they've lived it.
And you trying to hide it.
And you trying to hide it, and they see the signs, they like on my book, right? All these cobblestones. Let me tell you something. I could tell you, oh, that was my blood from that time I did so and so. You see that? That's my piece of skin over there. So when I see yours looking like that, I know, oh, I know where you've been. I know where you headed. Because I seen it and I know it. I'm not speculating. It's something I've been through. And you could, them that know. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool everybody all the time. You can't.
You did it, Berta.
So people who know already know. Somebody already sees what you are trying to hide. And guess what? More often than not, they still fool with you anyway. They're still a part of your life anyway. They haven't cut you off, or in some cases they have, and everybody else may still be on the boat. But just know that your deepest, darkest secrets, somebody already knows. Your insecurity, somebody already sees that and knows. So you're not hiding as much as you think you are.
Can you see me now?
Right, can you see me? You can't see me, right? You can't see what,
Can you see me now?
okay, okay.
Can you see me now?
There is a character ethic which is based on the fundamental idea that there are principles that govern human effectiveness. There are actual principles, natural laws in the human dimension that are just as real, just as unchanging and unarguably there as laws such as gravity are in the physical dimension. So I want to kind of give you an example of something that might be. Like what I just used earlier, in fact, is a good example of the father calling his son greedy. And how no matter how you cut that, if you keep doing that, you can guarantee that little boy is going to become greedy. There are laws like karma. Karma never forgets an address. What you reap, you sow. Those things are true. What you think about yourself, you will function from there. A lot of people, even if they're wrong and it's not healthy and it's not working for them, will hold on to something because it became their identity. And even though they will hold on to it, they will fight, even when presented with evidence to the contrary that this is really not true. They will fight to hold on to it because they have staked their identity in the belief that X, Y, and Z are true. So it's very important what we think about ourselves, what we think about how the world views us. And as I said to Brinson, hey, that's none of your business what they think. You don't even have no time or space to be wondering what they think, because that's not your business. Because that is not what's going to change your life. What somebody else thinks, all of this is an inside job. It's all inside work. What's more important than anything that anybody else can think about you is what you think about you. That is the thing that has the power to destroy your life faster than a herd of buffalo. Because you are the captain of your ship. You are the thing steering your life. A lot of times we take the position because it's easier. Well, that's just the way it is, and that just happened to me, and I was the victim, and I didn't really have no say so. Hey, yes, you did. Somewhere at some point, unless you're a child or infant, right? Somewhere along the way, we had a choice. Somewhere along the way, if nothing else, we engage with the wrong people for the wrong reasons. Whatever, but life doesn't just happen to us. Things do happen, but we have the ability, because we're like the Most High, we have the ability to declare things and to cause things to happen in our lives. And once we understand that we have the power, then we can utilize it. It's like, anybody ever washed their clothes and found $5 in the bottom of the washer? Well, when you needed that $5, it didn't do you no good because you didn't know you had it. You said, "Oh, I don't have no money. I don't have no money," but you did have $5, but it didn't do you no good because you didn't know where it was. You couldn't access it. So when we understand our power to create our circumstances by the power of our thoughts, once we understand that, then we begin to, as they say, guard your thoughts as if your life depends on it, because it does. Guard your thoughts. And I want us to be very conscious of guarding our thoughts about what we tell ourselves about ourselves. See, it's one thing for me to keep my word to Cheryl. It's another thing to keep my word to myself. See, I think it's noble to keep my word to Cheryl. Do I find it to be equally as valuable and important and relevant that I keep my word to myself? There was a time I didn't. I thought, well, we're gonna get to you.
Hold on.
We're gonna but no, Cheryl need me more right now.
Your turn.
You know what I'm saying? This one over here, the kids need me. The kids need shoes. I never forget my girlfriend. I had to tell her, let me tell you something. You gonna go and get some taps put on them shoes. You gonna stop walking on that hill with that leather rolled up this high on the heel. Oh, but the kids need, I said, let me tell you something. You got 3 kids. One of them kids gonna always need something. There's never going to be the perfect time when they don't need anything, if nothing else, because they keep growing. But you, on the other hand, are going to a professional environment every day and neglecting yourself so much that you walking around with that, like I said, with that leather rolled up on them shoes, instead of taking $5 or $10 to go get them shoes
Look
fixed.
like the banana peel on the hill.
Look like the banana peel on the hill. Right? But again, we're socialized in a lot of ways, and we think, okay, well, we got to do for the, and listen, who could argue what I want to take care of my kids before I take care of myself? It sounds noble, but it's bullshit. It's fuck the kids. Fuck the kids. It's bullshit at the end of the day. And what we have to do again is be impeccable with our word
Yep.
to ourselves. And that's Don Miguel Ruiz. Be impeccable with your word. And the thing that's so powerful about that is about what you tell yourself about yourself. I used to believe that if I didn't do all the work in a relationship with a man, then a man wouldn't stay. That's not true, but that's what I believed, and that's how I functioned. If I understood what his challenges were, I let that be the excuse as to why he didn't perform for me or
Treat
to me
the way I needed to be treated.
the way I needed to be treated, and I accepted that less behavior.
I'm gonna fix him.
Well, I never thought I would fix him. I just thought that it was
I'm gonna fix him.
okay because he had a challenge or he whatever. Oh, you was gonna fix
I'm
him.
gonna fix it because I know how to do it right. So I'm gonna show you.
Oh, you know how?
Yeah, I know how to do it right.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna show you how to do it right.
That's that Leo the lion. Y'all the king of the jungle. Y'all gonna fix everything.
I'll fix it.
Yeah. Huh?
She said, "Thank you."
Yeah, that's y'all. For real. Y'all, you know
I'ma
that
fix it. I'ma fix
yeah,
it.
because I could do this.
I got it.
Watch me. Yeah, see, and I never thought I could change or fix nothing. But I did believe that I should be understanding and let them know that I'm easy to get along with and I'm gonna be cool and I want y'all to know I don't understand nothing these days.
But that's the same
Is it
thing
is or is it
as-
ain't? Do it work or don't it? That's me now. But that's after many years and lots of hurt and pain and other things. We are at a point where I want to give everybody an opportunity. I want to come to you first, Chester, for you to unmute and tell me any of your final comments on the conversation tonight.
Well, my thoughts on the conversation, it gives me a lot to think about, a lot of awareness, and a lot of perspective on what we talked about. So that's where I'm at with that.
Awesome.
I'm gonna give this topic a whole lot of thought and continue to stay focused, because that's what we have to do.
I
So,
love that.
yeah.
Oh, well, that's good. That means I did my job. High five, North. High five to me. Okay. Hey, go North. How about you, Miss Beverly?
Well, the part about watching what you say about yourself, because I just recently started to do that, and started to like do affirmations every day, and I say I am, I am healthy. I am the head and not the tail, and I do that. I am smart. I am confident. I say that every day. So, and then I have to watch myself because I'll say stuff like, "Oh God, you're killing me." Then I'm like, and I thought about that the other day. I was like, I gotta quit saying that, you know, because
Yep.
and you made me realize that too tonight even more. So I appreciate that, and it's like confirmation of my confirmation. So
Right,
thank you
right.
for that.
Isn't that
Mm-hmm.
lovely how he does that though? Like he's working with you on something and then he'll have somebody else to give you confirmation that no, that was him talking to you. That was him in you giving you direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to come back and visit you about it. I would say in a month or two to see how things have changed and how you
Mm-hmm.
watch them shift because it don't take forever. He's spoken and thus it was. And so you will see the shift with you making those affirmations and doing those things. You will begin to see the shift pretty quickly. Pretty quickly.
And
Now,
I have because
see,
I
yeah,
was I
yeah,
was struggling because I've been doing this job for like 3 years now, working from home, and I
uh-huh.
was struggling so hard at first, and I noticed after I started saying those things, I was talking to my manager one day. We was having like uh uh oh shoot, what do you call it, a sync up, and he was telling me that he was just telling me how good I'm doing. I'm like, are you talking about me? That's what I'm saying to myself. And so I'm like, how? How? I don't see how I'm doing it because I'm not following the process. I'm doing it the way I want to do it, and I just, and it just made me feel so good because he's like, I don't see why, I don't even understand. He telling me I don't even understand why you saying that. I'm like, and I don't understand why you saying what you're saying
And the thing
because,
of it is I bet not much has changed physically about anything, but you see the perception changing and things adjusting just by you shifting your mindset.
hmm
And the thing of it is, Miss Beverly, we don't believe that things are that simple. We
right,
typically don't want to believe, and especially when it means, you mean to tell me that I can think my life to be different and it can be different? Oh, that's too
right.
easy. That's too easy. That's bullshit. That don't work. Well, that may work for you, but it don't work for me. But we don't believe that that's possible, especially people who have been movers and shakers and they're used to making things happen. It's more difficult for them to imagine that a thought could actually have as much power, if not more power, than an action. And you
But
could,
I'm sorry.
go ahead, sweetie.
But one thing I do struggle with,
What's that?
and that's my thoughts. It's like my thoughts. I mean, I don't know why I always end up. I could be watching something and I have negative thoughts that I have to work on, that I have to try to change what I'm thinking right away because it's those thoughts that come in my head. I'm like, where did that come from? Why is that happening?
I would
And
venture
I'm
to
like,
say, Ms. Beverly, it was a long time of reaping into that. There was a lot of things that probably started a very, 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 very long time ago. I would venture to say it's probably like if when you get to the root of it, you will likely see that it is part of what led you even into incarceration. And then certainly, if nothing else, being in incarceration would help to fuel any negative thoughts that you already, it's going to water it. It's going to nurture it. It's going to prop that up. So now it's a matter of what you're doing. And I will tell you and encourage you that as long as you continue on the road that you are and guarding those thoughts and you're doing the exact right thing, when that thought comes, where did that come from? No, that's not true. This is true. If nothing else, that's not true. This is what, and you speak in that moment what you, even if it's not what you want to be true. Again, I'm not in debt. I am prosperous. My funds are overflowing. I have an 800 credit score. I have like whatever that is the challenge. Do that for yourself consistently. And again, you will see it. I can only tell you because I've done it. I can only tell you because I've done it. And I thank you for being trusting us enough to be that honest about it. I really do, because it matters. Miss Monique. Miss Monique, you still here? Okay, Miss Monica Cooper. You want to unmute and give us your last thoughts, sweetie?
Yeah, yeah. I'm still here hanging on to you guys every word. I
Okay.
am not only that I come in with gratitude and grateful for consistency, but now I get to walk away with the notion to keep building that relationship with myself to make the word to myself impeccable. And that's going to help with other relationships. Like the first relationship I need to have is with me. So that's I definitely walked away with that. The other thing is to constantly try to remove my biases as I'm interacting with people, as I'm interacting with women, and realize that I see the world in the way that I see the world and don't necessarily make it so.
It
Because
don't have to be
when the
so.
sun is just setting over there where you guys are at, the sun has already been down in Baltimore for 3 hours, and we still looking at the same sun. But that's your perspective of it, and that's my perspective of the sun because it don't go nowhere. It's still in the sky. That star now it's just acting, I guess, like the moon is there. But I really appreciate that, and it, like I said, man, this consistency just constantly reinforce the things that Sister Cheryl shared with me. And sometimes you just got to keep on coming back until that thing really click. And I'm just glad to be here, and I'm glad to have walked away with those lessons, because it is consistency and hearing that thing until it really settles into my bones. So man, if I hit the lottery tomorrow, I'm sending everybody $1,000 check.
Oh, that's so
Shit, I
awesome.
appreciate y'all.
I gotta tell you this. I gotta tell you this. It is always, so the value that you add for me is that your accent is so back home for me. I'm from Philly, right? So your
Oh
accent,
yeah, okay.
right? Yeah, your accent is close enough to home that, and I've never shared that with you, but I always love to hear you talk because it puts me in a, I just love to hear it because it just reminds me of being a kid and being in the space where I'm loved and everything. And so I'm glad you're here. And I'm honored again that we can offer anything to you that is of use to you in your world. And I really just thank you for that. Miss Tony, you have any final comments for us, sweetie
Give her
pie?
a hug. I'm trying to hug her.
We trying to hug you, Tony. Can we have a hug? We want a hug,
No,
Tony.
y'all not hugging Tony. She don't
We
want no
want,
hug.
we want a group hug with Tony.
That's funny.
Look at her face. Well, look at her face. You can see, baby, we are so lucky that she is not here.
I'm gonna touch the. Wait. Oh, okay. All right. You ain't gotta act.
No.
like that. We love you anyway.
No. Okay. Well, maybe we should just listen to what you're gonna say.
To everyone, a setback is a setup for a
Say it again.
A setback is a setup for a comeback. Period.
Thank you. Love you. Appreciate you. Miss Monica, the other Monica.
Well, it's easier said than done to tell yourself wonderful things all the time. When you have a parent that at 57 years old still puts you down, but doesn't put anybody else down. And everybody doesn't put me down like she does, but it's still hard because that's who had me.
So, and this is gonna sound like really crazy. Ready?
Ready.
Fuck her ass. Remove yourself. Fuck her ass. Because you know what? And stop subjecting yourself to it.
Yeah.
Stop
very
subjecting
hard,
yourself to that bullshit. Stop it.
I know.
You're gonna have to man up on this one.
Well,
right? Because again, okay, listen.
Let me help you, Pepe.
Okay.
Your feelings matter too. It doesn't matter who it is, who it's coming from. Your feelings matter too. And you got to respect yourself to know that your feelings do matter and remove yourself. That's all you have to do. It's nothing to complain about. We ain't got to talk about it. Just remove yourself. You're old enough to know how to do that. So just do it.
And you don't owe her. You don't owe her power and control to hurt you any longer. You do not. I don't care who she is. I know that sounds hard.
It's very hard.
But she's dying. She's dying. You said what, sweetie?
She's dying too. She's at the end of the road.
Well, and listen, what I really strongly would encourage you to do at this point then is I would strongly encourage you to make sure anything you wanted her to know, say it. And I don't care how hurtful it is or whatever, because you got to release it, because guess what? If you don't, when she's gone, you will not have that opportunity. And then
you know what she told me?
What's that, baby?
Do you know what she told me? I said, how come you tell everybody when they lose weight and you don't tell me? And that was already a trap for myself, like an idiot. She goes, oh, your boobs are too big. You're always going to look fat. I'm like,
but guess what?
She told me to have a breast reduction because they're too big.
But guess what? Guess what? I know some people who would probably absolutely love every ounce of them damn boobs.
Exactly.
Okay, and look,
You
and they
gotta
might
move
appreciate it,
yourself.
having some great uses for them boobs. Okay, so
You're grown
again,
up
again,
now.
what it is? Let me tell you something now,
You're
and I'm
grown
gonna
up
say
now.
this.
You're
I'm gonna
grown
say
up
this
now.
to you. Listen, this
You're
is
grown up now.
wait, hold it. This is the thing. You have bought into, and I want you to hear me. You have bought into the notion that you deserve what she's saying and doing. You believe it and you agree.
Yeah.
You know
You're
it
right.
or not. And that is the only way that it is allowed to have the power with you today that it does. I can promise you I know that's true because when I was young, I had my son at 20. Most of my friends didn't have kids till they were in their 30s. So I gained weight. So when mind you, I was a size 10 and they were like size 5, size 7. So, and I'm big breasted. So I always look right the same way, right? Dated a guy, he knew I was insecure about it. So he would use it as something that I needed to perfect before he would actually give me what I wanted in a relationship. When I finally got out of the relationship and realized that, number one, my brother asked me, well, how much did you weigh when you met him? I said, well, what I weigh now. He was like, well, if he didn't like that, he'd never talk to you in the first place. That's a control issue for him with you because he knows that matters to you. So from that relationship until this day, however you meet me, this is it. And you don't get the opportunity to suggest anything about my weight or nothing else. I don't give a damn. Okay. And I know that I don't have to change for who you want me to be. But I now have, I will tell you, even to this point, I broke up with this guy. He got with a new girl, but he really was still in love with me. That was the truth of the matter. And she knew it. So one day she calls me and she's like, I'm trying to figure out why me and my man, we always arguing about you. And I had to explain why. But then she gonna call me a fat bald head bitch. She called me a fat bald head bitch. And that was before I had let this hair grow back. It was all like this, right? And so I was like, yeah, I got some fat on me. And yeah, I choose to be bald headed. It had no effect on me, Monica. None.
Yeah.
It had none. And I told her, and guess what?
That's your opinion.
And guess what? And if I drive past your house and wave my panties, his ass is coming. So now how about that? Fat and bald head, just like I am. You know why? Because it no longer had the power because I no longer believed that to be a negative, even being fat and bald headed. I did not any longer consider that to be an impediment or a challenge or negativity.
That's what you said.
Because somebody else decided that. So when you're ready, and I strongly encourage you again to withdraw from allowing your mother to hurt you. You set yourself up for that hurt, that one conversation. And somehow you're accustomed to that. That has become normalized for you.
Right.
And you setting yourself up.
Why you answer that?
Right. You're asking.
But on the opposite end, though, I think you could consider it like, at the end of the day, I like what you said in terms of you don't have to give it power. So, I understood sometimes when I've talked to people that they're fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they're jealous.
Yeah.
Or sometimes.
And that is a strong possibility too. Yeah. She may be jealous of you, Monica.
Yeah, but whatever it is.
Whatever the
don't
matter.
It doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter. So like when you look in the mirror, do you feel like you look better?
Right.
Do you feel like you like the jeans that you wear? Do you feel like you like your boobs? Does anybody else like your boobs? I'm sure I know a lot of people that would. Like at the end of the day, whatever she says, it's funny how when we look at people like Trump, we can see those people and say like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. And we can say that so decisively. But when it comes to our parents, when it comes to siblings or people that are
close to us, yeah.
When they say idiotic stuff, we can't just say, oh, you're just an idiot.
Right.
Yes,
That's why I'm not going to listen to you.
Yes, I can.
Well, I know you can. But I'm talking about everybody else.
And it is a common thing for
Sometimes
people not to be able to.
Yeah. And so I think we do have to kind of take that self-evaluation and say, hey, what makes you credible?
Yeah. And you got to consider the source. And the other thing is, again, for 57 years, how many more years are you going to give her the power to hurt you? How
And then,
many more years? Like, how, like,
No,
you know, at some point, you gotta take your power back.
Right,
And you can take your power back.
right.
You do not have to subject yourself to that. And listen, even in her dying days, you don't have to subject yourself that way. I just strongly encourage you to become complete with you and her relationship. The other thing I would strongly encourage you to look at, how does she get like that?
oh yeah, well, I already know that. I mean, she had no love growing up. So I understand that, but that's why I changed my way, the way I am with my boys. They hear I love them and I show them. Um, when I did strike back to her one time, she didn't talk to me for 3 months. And
Well,
I,
and you still here, you still alive,
well,
right?
yeah, and my dad would call me every day. And it's a problem when I'm dating somebody. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. And she says,
What
"What
do
are
you
you
mean?
gonna do
What's the
when?"
end of the world?
Oh, to her, like if I'm dating a new person, it's like, oh my God, how could you be having sex with another man? And I'm like, well, because I moved on. So, because she's Mexican, old school. She's only
Uh-huh.
been with my dad, with one
Mhm.
man. That's not my fault.
Yeah.
One man. You could have changed that, lady. That was on you. And so,
One,
but it's
one man she's willing to cop to and admit to, but go ahead.
no, no, seriously,
Put it on
it
a
is
whole bunch of
true.
dates.
It is true. Believe me, that's why she's probably so angry. But she's always told me, I don't know what he sees in you. What about when you're no good? Because I was dating somebody really, I mean, 14 years younger than me for 8 years,
Mhm.
and she hated him. And she goes, "What are you going to do when you can't have sex with him? Like when you?" And I said, "Well, I have a mouth, mom." And she hung up and didn't talk to me for 3 months.
And that's what she was mad at.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. You know what? When you mentioned jealousy, honestly, I do hear jealousy as a part of that because you get to have a life different than the one that she had. And
Right.
maybe there's things that she wanted to do differently.
and you
And let me
did.
ask you this: did you have a better relationship with your dad?
Well, he was always the nicer parent. He was always more
I'm talking
understanding.
about how did he relate to you?
Mhm.
Oh, he's never put me down for any of the stuff of me dating other. He just wants me to be happy. He doesn't want me to be alone. I don't
No, I
care.
want to go back to your childhood. I'm taking you all the way back. In the household, did he take up for you? Did he dote on you? Did he pay you attention?
No, the man.
Somewhat, but I basically was an only child and my parents were always working. So my oldest brother was my father and mother. So
Okay.
that's why I
But
became a reader. So, because.
so the likelihood though is that there may even be something in the way that he responded to you. There may be conversations that he had about how he felt about his daughter that she felt jealous because she never had it.
Or it could be something simple like she had beautiful hair and she had hair that was different than mom, or she was
Yeah.
pretty when she was young and she lost all the attention, or it could simply be she was clinging on to you lost weight, you're looking better, so let me take the only shot I can get at you, which is your boobs, right? And so, but you still have to give it power.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you're right. None of it matters unless you give it power. And I want you to also explore for yourself what is your payoff in it, because you get a payoff to continue to give it power. And you probably don't even know what that is, but I want you to think about that. Why do I continue to do this? Because there's a reason, right? You're feeding it some kind of way. And the question I have is, what do you get out of it? Is there that I promise you it's subconscious. I'm sure that it is not something you consciously think of, but I would ask yourself those questions so that you can uproot what the cause of it is and heal so that you can be whole and stop giving the negative, because it's like with social media, right? Somebody can post something and get 1,000 likes and one negative comment, and they obsess over the one negative comment.
Yeah.
So whatever that young 14-year younger dude was, he wasn't worried about your breasts or your weight or none of that, was he? Not for all them years. And she wanted to minimize it to sex. Well, guess what? It wasn't that either. Right. So we always focus on the one negative thing. We focus on the negativity. And I just encourage you, baby, because you deserve to be free. And quite frankly, at this point, it's you that's holding you back and not her. It's you that's hurting you and not her, sweetie. Because she just doesn't have that power because you don't have to give her access. What were you gonna say, Tony?
There you touched on the codependency piece of it. And she being codependent on the negative of her mother, and if this is something that she has experienced all of her life, she has become attached to that. Because when you say, I asked my mom about why she can comment positively on everyone else's weight loss but not on mine's, it was as if you needed her to give you that negative connotation. And from my own experiences, I think that there could be some the jealousy, the unconscious bias of I wanted that life. I wanted that life that my daughter had.
Yeah.
I can't have it. But the thing for me is that it's almost as if you can't survive without her negative comments. You know that they're coming. If they don't come,
you go looking for it.
Right.
Or I'm hoping that she's gonna change now that she's fucking dying.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. What would make you think that? What in 57 motherfucking years, right, Monica gave you indication that it was gonna change?
World. You are
Monica, me and you old girls, real come on.
You're on the hamster wheel.
Okay.
You're on the hamster wheel with that thought process.
Hope like that in your
well, what you want to do is have hope, and my thing is this, is that it is right, reality. But it's not rational necessarily, and it doesn't matter whether it is or whether it isn't. The reality is that for Monica to be whole emotionally and mentally, it is going to require a divorce from that in order for you to be whole. And the question just becomes, what do you want more? This will be an example of one of those things I mentioned earlier, where it is a part of your identity now. It has to be if it's been going on your entire life, right? It is a part of it. And the subconscious will fight you because there are lots of other things in your life that indicate that you're whether you look fat or not, it doesn't matter, because you've clearly had other people attracted to you, right? Attracted to you physically, but that doesn't supersede, and you hold on to it because it has become part of your identity that your mother's rejection of you is to be expected. And like Tony said, when it's not there, you go and produce it. But you know why? Because it's familiar.
You got to make peace with it.
It's familiar. And you got to understand the fact that that was her issue. There was never an issue with you. There was never an issue with you. The issue has always been in her. That has always been where the issue was.
Noreen.
Yes.
Hurt people.
Hurt people. Hurt people. Hurt people. And so that's why I asked you earlier, what happened to her? Right? If you look at it, you're going to find that there was a reason, and it could be as simple as nobody ever loved me and she saw people loving you, and therefore there's jealousy. So there are lots of reasons, but I will say this. At this stage of the game, none of those really matter. None of those really matter. What does matter is that you heal from the need to get what she doesn't have the capacity to give. You keep hoping for something that she doesn't have the capacity to give. And then you torture yourself as if there's something wrong with me, which is why she can't give it, because you inherently believe you are the reason why she can't give you what she doesn't have. But she can never give you what she didn't receive. She can't. She doesn't have it. you know,
But you nailed it in terms of, it's still, she has to give her power.
right,
Right, at the end of the day, whatever her reason, it is what it is. She's dying or passing
That's what I'm saying,
away.
make peace
I think
with it.
if you really make peace with that,
Make
I'm
peace
the
with it.
antagonistic type of person that I would go back in a crop top and say, hey, Mom, I agree with you. My boobs do look big and I don't like them. You know, you got a good point. I look great. And
right,
people love them, you know, but I'm glad you pointed that out. But anyway, next conversation. You know,
right,
let's move
yeah.
on, you know?
Yeah, but you gotta make peace with it because she's passing away.
Yeah.
To make her, for her soul and her spirit to be better with herself.
But how do you make peace with it? Like, to me,
It's
it's not
hard,
only
but you'll
peace
have
with
to.
it, but it's
Well,
ownership.
what is it that she's making peace with, right? So that's the
The
key,
pain.
right? Well, no. What she needs to make peace with, that's the key for her, is what is the thing that causes you the pain about it? Is it that she doesn't give you, if I'll say it this way, you don't have to answer this for everybody, but what I'm saying is, if it's that she doesn't show me love, or if it's that, and there's a difference between that and all she ever does is criticize me. Because what it is that really, really bothers you and hurts you, only you can identify what that is. And if it is, in fact, that she doesn't show me love, you know that it's not because she didn't want.
You're muted.
Hello?
Okay, she's muted, right?
Yeah, I think so. Something happened. How you doing?
She was on one. I was like, what? What happened?
And
You
I
guys
don't
can't
say
hear
she
me?
just laughed.
I don't know, because nothing changed.
Okay.
Okay, there you
You
are.
guys can't hear me?
Now we can.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Now we can.
Okay, but what I'm saying is whatever it is that really hurts you, okay, whatever that really hurts you about her behavior, identify what that is, and then come to terms with why that is.
Mm-hmm.
See, because it really doesn't necessarily have anything to do with you, despite the fact that you have been the target of it. So I
Well,
want you.
now my son is the target, and he's the one taking care of them. So that's what sparked my conversation with her, and I'm like, are you calling to complain about my son again? Because that's all she does, complain about him, and no one else does for her, like what he does. So that she started, now she's fucking with my son. So
Well,
I'm
and the thing
mad
of it
about that.
is that once you identify how to stop the cycle with you could tell him how to stop it. Okay, you can tell him how to not let that affect him, because this is the thing: if she's dying, there's a certain level of stuff that she can't do for herself, I'm sure. Okay, and that means that what her words don't have to, if you guys don't give her words power, then she'll stop. I'll tell you this much: people, negative people, only like to perform for an audience. And if you don't give it audience, and you don't give it air, and you don't give it, and they can't feel your hurt and your discomfort in it, then they stop. But see, what you do is you go ahead and tell her, please hurt me. Here, sock me on this side, right?
Yeah.
Well, you haven't punched on me in a month. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
lady. Yeah.
That good, do it again.
You see what I'm saying? So that's what that, I need to end my in room people. Miss Cheryl, any final comments?
Wonderful session. Thank you.
Absolutely. B.
My God.
I think the thing that I leave away with today is not only having your mind think it, but don't let momentary lapses or challenges allow it to come out of your mouth. And so understand, like, you may have momentary things that happen, but don't let it slip out of your mouth, and then correct your mind in terms of how you're thinking about yourself. And then one thing I thought about during this session was all the positive things that people say about me today are things that I can recall people saying about me when I was young. And so how do I make sure I'm very mindful with my daughters in terms of what I say to them, and even other people, coworkers and other people that I'm around, other than some people that you just can't help. But but how do I make sure I'm very choiceful and
Yes.
deliberate with those words because they have power.
They do. And
So-
they form things in your children, right? They form things. Ms. Di?
The word I'm gonna leave with, like she said, being persistent. I love that. Being persistent can teach you more structure than you would ever, if you really didn't know what it was, or you didn't know, nobody showed it to you.
Consistent was her word.
If you're being that to yourself and to others, it can help you a lot and take you a long way.
Mr. Bird, I know you got here a little late, but did you get anything while you was here, baby?
I had got on the, while I was driving.
Oh, okay.
And you guys were talking about, making fun of yourself or something, or, and I do that, I still do that now, and I always get that, thing from Cheryl, like, you need to stop doing that, cause I didn't see that, or nobody's seen that, but I think I do it so nobody else won't say it.
Uh-huh, yeah,
So I slap myself first, so you
Yeah.
can't say nothing,
right.
cause that's what I'm thinking, somebody else is thinking.
And what it
But
is
you
that
always
you
know.
agree, you believe that whatever the negativity is true.
Mhm.
So because you believe it's true, you believe I need to make sure that they can't do this or do that, right? They can't hurt me with it if I take the power out of it. And I'm gonna say we used the full 2 hours. Okay, hang on. Okay, stop texting, y'all. We used the full 2 hours tonight, but I will say to you guys that it was worth every minute. I appreciate you all. I am grateful for the ability to come and love on one another and give practical steps. I think that is one of the missions here that has evolved. Because I don't want to say like I started out this way, but for us to help us each other heal from those things that we think about ourselves that are not true, that hold us back and cause us pain. So I appreciate all of you. And this has been another great session of Free to Heal, and we see you guys next week, okay?
Bye.
All right, Miss Marie, I came in.
All
Have a good
right.
night, everybody.